Let's call the names, please. We have Ali. We have Ibrahim. Ikrami.
Yes.
A very distinguished name. Al-Husseini.
Yes.
Mr. Husseini. Sayyid Omar. Ilhan. Muhammad. Ilhan. Ilhan. Okay. Okay. Iman Abdul Basir. Iman Amin. Iman Ibrahim. We have a lot of Iman. Iman Saeed. Yes. Are you sitting in the same groups?
Yes.
Okay. Iman Saeed. Yes. Iman Salah. Yes. Okay. Tesol. Yes. Fatih Ibrahim. Oh. Fatih Abdul Ghaffar.
Here.
Fatih. Fatma. Fatma Jamal. Okay. Fatma Muhammad Rashid. Fauzi. Okay. Veda. Yes. Okay. KM. Heidi. Hakim. Hameda. Hamdi. Anel. Hani Adela. Hani Hani Adela. Hani Muhammad. Hani Muhammad Hussein. محمد الليثي ده حضرتك؟ ده حضرتك ومحمد حسين. طب معلش I have something. Okay. هاني رجب. حسن. همت. هيثم. أمير. Okay. Did anyone not hear their name? Did anyone not hear their name? Everybody's here? Let's try. Okay, so we're building on what we took before. Any parking lot, but my parking lot is empty. So what does this say? I'm happy. I'm very happy. Okay. Now, please, if you have any inquiries or any questions, please do not hesitate to post a sticky note on the parking lot. Okay? Yes.
So for feedback.
Excuse me?
For feedback.
For feedback? Super feedback. Super. Is that what you said? So good. Is that what you said? Oh. Welcome, I'm impressed. Thank you so much. Okay. But please, Gordo, do not hesitate if you have any questions. Okay, our roadmap. What is a roadmap, by the way? I think we skipped this last time. What's a roadmap? What's an alternative word for roadmap from what you see?
Plan.
It's a plan.
Guide.
Is it a guide?
Format.
It's not a format. This is what we're going to do in this session.
The way you teach.
Is it? No, it's not the way. What is it?
Method.
It's a plan for the session.
Steps.
Or it's like an agenda. You know when you have an agenda, you do this first, this. A to-do list. Steps. Very good. A to-do list for this session. So this is what we're going to do in this session. Determine students' academic English language proficiency and ways to support them accordingly. We're continuing this because we started it last session, remember? Identify new steps for planning a lesson. So what does this say? How many steps do we have for a lesson plan? The ones we took? 4. The first one is checking priorities. one is
Content object.
content and language. Super. Okay. Okay, let's see the next part. Identify new steps for lesson planning. So how many steps? Is it only the 4 steps we mentioned? No. We're going to mention some other steps. We're going to add some new steps. Identify the difference between social and academic language. We'll discuss that as well. Determine the meaning and ways for scaffolding. And I'm not mentioning what the scaffold means, okay, until we reach the slides, because I'd like to let's brainstorm with one another. I'll show you a corresponding video for this. Okay, steps for planning. Number 1. They're nice and dancing, and we know them all. Technique, prior knowledge. 2. Proficiency level. 3. Rubric. 4. Language and content objectives. Do we remember this? Yes, we did, because I asked you before even the slideshow. Okay. Now look at the next 5. What does DI stand for? Remember when hold on. Let's respect our norms. Okay. Remember when I told you if I lend my shirt to Reda is thinner, but that's fine. Okay? Does it have to be her size? No. Okay? Because we have different sizes. Because we learn in different ways. So this is an abbreviation for differentiated instruction. And this is something we teach for 6 hours in a PD. It's a very intense topic. It's not something we can say by the way. But it's the idea, okay? Differentiation. Differentiated instruction. To meet individual what? Individual differences, individual needs. Very good. Individual learning styles. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now we have this word I think you will very much enjoy. Translanguaging. It has to do with language, of course. I'll mention the next slide, okay? Now, the 7th one is academic and social language. If someone masters academic language, does he have to, social language, does he have to master academic language? Not necessary, of course. Social language is what we use to socialize, okay, in our daily life. Okay, doesn't have to be the case. And scaffolding, I'm not mentioning now. So, we have 4 new steps to discuss over this session. Differentiated instruction. Does everybody know what DI stands for? Because you will find this abbreviation. It will be recurrent in next slide. Translanguaging, academic and social language, and scaffolding. Now, take a look at this. When is equal not equitable? When is equal not equitable? What is equal? To say, right? Okay. What is equitable? Okay. Now, it's the same thing as the shirt. Okay, look at this. This is something called a picture analysis, where you look at the picture, you interpret information, and it's a strategy you can use inside your classrooms. Okay, now you have a number of animals. For a fair selection, everybody was to take the same exam. Please climb the tree. Is it possible for all of them to climb the tree? Of course not. Of course not. Okay, what do the animals symbolize? Yes, students that learn how? The same way? In different ways and styles. Okay? Yes. So if you give them the same task, you shouldn't expect everybody to do it the same way or with the same perfection. Right?
Or on the same time.
Or on the same time. These are individual differences, right? I told you, imagine in a group where you do, this is called homogeneous grouping, heterogeneous grouping, I'm sorry, where you put students of different abilities. Okay? What was I saying?
When you students
okay.
have different abilities.
When you group students with different abilities, okay, someone very good at spoken English, someone extremely superb when it comes to critical thinking, someone very good when it comes to reading graphs, for example, interpreting information from a picture, and then you put them together, and someone with exceptional, phenomenal writing skills. All the different peers have to come up with an outcome. This is differentiated instruction, part of differentiated instruction. Okay, when classrooms have a wide range of diversity in their students' language, academic proficiency, materials, lessons, and instruction should be differentiated to meet students' needs. Okay? Okay. Now, the first step is not the first, it's the fifth, but because we know four, which are what? The first one is prior knowledge. Number two, proficiency level. Number three, rubric. Number four, content and language objectives. And number five is DI. Now, what is DI? I told you, differentiated instruction. I told you I was very hard to handle. I had to do things with my own hands. Okay? We have different ways to instruct. We have something called sensory support, graphic support, and interactive support. Where do I fit? I told you where I fit. Where do you think I fit?
You are interactive.
Very good. That's typical me, even at home. Okay? Typical me, interactive. Okay, that's a kinesthetic learner. Kinesthetic has to do something using all senses together. Visual is a learner who has to what? See. Auditory is a learner who has to hear. Okay? If you give me, for example, I'll tell you my personality. If you give me listening comprehension, I would fail. I'd be very bad. I have good English, that's fine. If you give me listening comprehension, I would just fall off. I can't do this. I need to see the passage. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm a failure, but this is how I can handle things. Okay? Let's see sensory support. Sensory support is real-life objects, manipulatives. Any ideas? What's a manipulative? Something that you have to handle. Okay? Pictures and photographs, illustrations, diagrams, and drawings. I'm good at that as well. Physical activities, I'm certainly good at that as well. Newspapers and magazines. I'm talking about myself. I'm not good at newspapers and magazines. It's not my perfect art. Videos and films are okay these days, okay? Broadcasting, what's broadcasting? Okay, models and figures. So these are sensory supports. Graphic supports, charts. Remember when I gave you the what chart? Where we had content, objective, and language objective. We drew a line in the middle, I told you, and you divide your paper in two halves, and you have to fill in under the content and language objective. This is a T chart. Okay? Graphic organizers, it's the same thing. What's a graphic organizer? You have, for example, 3 slots that you have to fill in. More than 2. 3 slots that you have to fill in. Something like this. Okay? Graphs, tables, timelines, and number lines. These are more mathematical. Yes. But they do apply in science and English as well, and social studies. Okay? Interactive supports. Which type of learning is this? Mostly. Interactive. Remember I mentioned something called... Okay, dividing into groups. What was the big name? Active learning, right? Active learning. Remember when I said we can do either division of tasks, and I refer to your table, or the 10 of you, can you stop using mobiles, please? Can you stop using mobiles? Okay. Or when you need to agree on a concept and do collaborative learning, where you have to put 40 different perspectives, okay, to come up with a final result. Okay? Now, in triads, or what's a triad? In threes or small groups. In a whole group. Now, if we're doing something all together, 35 people together, that's whole group discussion. Sometimes you need to do this in the classroom, right? Okay, using cooperative group structures we mentioned with the internet or software programs in the native language or with mentors. What's a mentor?
Helpers.
Mentor is a helper, someone in close contact with you, looking at what you're doing. Okay? Okay, now these are some sensory supports. This is for your reference. You will find this on the Facebook page. It has to do with all subjects. But speaking of language arts, which is our main concern, we'll mention the first slot only. Illustrated word phrase walls. Illustrated word phrase walls, sequence blocks, figures or story elements, posters or displays, a bulletin board, photographs, cartoons, audio. What's an audiobook? What's an audiobook?
Listening.
Okay, an audiobook is when you listen to a story or something. Okay, songs and chants. Okay, this is some examples. These are some examples for sensory supports. Graphic supports. Remember, we mentioned 3 types of supports for DI. Sensory, graphic, and interactive. Very good. Now, the second one, it's for all subjects as well, but let's look at the English language, which is the second one. Okay, Venn diagram. Now, this is the Venn diagram. Do you see it? This is so applicable when you teach them when they're taking literature and you have to compare characters, for example.
Verb tenses.
Yes, and verb tenses as well. Okay, T-charts, there we go. There you go. Cycles, where you have to write a plot line. What's a plot line? What's a plot? Any ideas? Habka? Okay, it has to do with that. A plot is like, yes, you're putting, for example, if you're teaching a novel like Jane Eyre or A Tale of Two Cities or one of the classics, you put a plot. Summary. Like it's more of a summary to like give you an insight on what's inside this book. Okay? That's it. Main ideas, reviews. But in a way where it shows the sequence, but in a few points. The sequence of a story, but in a few points.
The theme.
Yes, without any details. No.
If it's communication, then solution.
Theme. The theme.
Theme. It has to do. It still has to do with the theme, actually. Like A Tale of Two Cities, it has to do with the revolution, right? So this is one of the. It's one important big thing. Yeah, French Revolution. Right. Okay. Cause and effect, illustrating a relationship like responses of characters to events. For example, in a book where 2 characters are going through something together, but you see how each and every one of them responds to this event. This is a graphic support. We use this in science a lot, but it's applicable in all subjects. Now, it's connecting categories to themes or topics. Root words and affixes. Main idea with details. Like what? You can stick the main idea in the middle, and all the sticks and bubbles coming out are what's going around this main idea. So the main idea was the French Revolution, right? In A Tale of Two Cities. You can stick important events or ideas around the French Revolution because it all happens to go through the French Revolution, the entire story.
It helps in teaching vocabulary.
Very much.
Spidergram.
It's a spidergram. I didn't want to say this. It's a spidergram. You can use it teaching vocabulary. You can use a terminology or something, put some synonyms around it that help understand the meaning of this word. Remember when we said abstract and concrete? Very good. Abstract abstract and concrete. Our main, excuse me, our main objective is teaching abstract. So maybe you can put words around it or examples to teach the word. Where will I put the word? In the middle, because it's the objective, right? Okay. This is where things start. Okay. A nice, fancy Spanish word called the corriente. What's the corriente? Students use the corriente to learn content and language in schools. What do you see in this picture?
Cairo.
Yes, it is. Cairo? Yes, it's Cairo. You have the Nile. You have how many banks? What's a bank?
I think
You have the left bank and the right bank, right? You have the left bank and a right bank. Okay, let's see how does this relate to our objective today of planning and academic language. The corriente connects the two river banks. It connects this river bank to the other side. English and Arabic. So, what is the corriente?
Franco-Arab.
Oh yes, oh yes. You know when you see kids writing, I'm not sure if you have this, but my children do this at all times. They write Arabic, but using English. This is the corriente. What are they doing? A mix between English and Arabic. Very good. Okay, but at the river bottom, the terrain is one. The terrain. Now, there is a left bank, there is a right bank, but at the bottom, they share the same bottom, don't they? Yes. The bottom of the Nile. Okay? So, this is like what they're common things between English and Arabic. So, you can consider the corriente in this way. One bank is English, the other bank is Arabic, and the terrain, which is the bottom of the Nile, is something that is common between English and Arabic. Okay? Teachers can embrace the corriente. Embrace, what does that mean? Okay, embrace means use. Very good. It's use. Using the corriente to tailor according to the situation you have in the classroom or with a student. To tailor, using English and Arabic together. To leverage is to maximize the benefits of using two languages together. Remember when I told you, can you persuade a student, even at an international school, to use English under any circumstances, otherwise he or she will be deducted? Is this something healthy and wise to do? No. It's very unhealthy because you are asking the student to do what? To hop on one leg. That's not fair. Not fair at all. But you can use English and Arabic, but you can use Arabic, reinforce some Arabic to maximize the benefit in a strategic way.
Or to save time.
To save time? No. You can't do this to save time because you have an objective. You will have a language and a content objective. So it's not to save time, but it's to maximize the benefit. But you need to use this in a strategic format. Okay? Okay. Okay, so we mentioned number 5 was what? What was number 5? DI. Differentiated instruction. Now, facilitate. So, what is the meaning of the word translanguaging? Language is language. How many languages are we talking about? 2. English and Arabic. What is translanguaging? A combination of both languages together to maximize the benefit. Okay? So, see this nice fancy word? Strategically. So, you don't use use Arabic because you feel more comfortable with using Arabic, but it's to maximize the benefit. It should serve your language and content objective. Sometimes it's really hard. You need to use some Arabic. And this is not in governmental schools, not only in experimental schools, but in super expensive international schools.
This is the way.
Yes. We're Egyptian. We're native Arabic speakers. Right?
Excuse me.
Yes, please. Mr. Fikri.
We face a very big problem, especially when supervisors come to our school.
And
They insist that you mustn't speak Arabic in the classroom. You must use English all the time.
yeah, it's to I'll tell you.
Wallahi, maybe 3 days ago, the supervisor said it is advisable to use English all the time at the classroom. I told him it depends. He said, no, you are a teacher.
Okay, Mr. Fikri.
Language, formal, distinct languages.
Okay, if I'm not defending whoever's in charge or supervisor or who, but if he permits using Arabic, everybody will just because everybody would feel more comfortable using Arabic. If he says you are, nobody will use English. Believe me, this is human nature. Do you see what I mean? He is sure, and I am sure. I'm sure that he's quite sure that you still enforce some Arabic, but he can't make it official. Otherwise, he lost the objective. From his point of view, you need to serve the language objective. Do you get my point? But you can still use it strategically. Okay? Okay. Now, remember when I explained the corriente? What's the corriente? Two river banks, English, Arabic, but they share some points together as a language. Okay, so you have this, you have two glaciers, surface features, language 1, surface features of language 2, and then you have things and concepts and cognitive features will be the same for English and Arabic. Okay. So let's do this together. Let's do this together. We are going to work in groups. Okay, I will not move you now. I'll not move you now. It's fine. We'll stay as is. Now, let's try this out. You will see some statements. You will see some statements. Determine which of the concepts developed in the students' language 1, which is of course Arabic. Yes. Language 1 is Arabic for everyone. Would relate to the other language, which is English. Sorry. If the concept is relatable, write its number underwater. If it's not relatable, above water. Meaning, let's go back to this. Okay. Relatable means the statement is the same for both languages. Not relatable, if it's the same, then this is the terrain. Remember, that connects the two river bands.
Yes.
But if it's not the same,
Korean.
that's each and every language has its own, then you will write the number above water. Corriente is the current. What is the current? Mayor. Yes, the stream. Stream. Okay? So we're not going to locate numbers on the two peaks. No, it's either above water or below water. Yes. Now, you are going to decide as a group. I'll turn the light on. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to read, okay?
Yes.
And you are going to, as a group, decide, are you going to put the number of the statement above or below? We'll discuss each point. I think we have 6. Okay, so 1 minute to discuss the first point. 1 minute to discuss the first point. Yes, in groups. Discuss put number 1, which is the first statement, are you going to put it above water or below water? Are you ready with the answer?
Yes.
Oh, you're being slow. We have 6 of them.
No, we say stop.
Okay. 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 Try to do all 6. You have them in your booklets. That's a good idea. It's page 12. Page 12. You have them all in your booklets. ايوه ايوه ما هو معانا انا اصلا لما بتحرك يعني اكتر ما انا سقعانه ولا كويس هتقدر جامد. Yes? Is it urgent? This is not acceptable, but since this is emergency, okay.
We are ready.
Are you ready, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Understanding that objects have labels. Above or below?
Below.
Underwater.
Underwater. Okay, we'll check. Number 2. We'll check. Number 2 is general vocabulary terms that are completely different in English and Arabic. Tufaha versus apple.
Above water.
Of course. So where's number 2? Words that are a mixture between English and Arabic. Handalit. Handalit comes from the word what? لا هندلة غير هندلت. Not delete. هندلت الأمور. You see what I mean? Okay. To handle or deal with something. Okay. Handlet. That's what? To delete. Ah, yes, absolutely. Yes, that's true. Okay, we have so many examples. Hanshayar, I really hate it, but I'm saying it. This is to Hanshayar. However, it makes me smile. Okay? Hello? Okay, now, where's number 3? Under the water, because it's a mixture between B. P and B is an issue. And it's an issue, it's because of there are so many sounds in English that we don't have in Arabic. Yes. So P is one of them. And then B, right? Which is B.
واحدة بشدة واحدة من الشدة.
Yeah. No. One is we'll say this tomorrow. We'll stay some time on that's when I will use my voice. And you will accordingly. Okay. So park. What's the difference between park and bark? How is a park? Right. Yes, very big difference. Very big difference. Park is a place where you go out, have a picnic, maybe eat some sandwiches. Okay? Now, word order in Arabic is different than that in English. For example, يكتب الولد. يكتب الولد. Like the verb first and then right.
Make it
We have it different in English. It's what? The boy, the subject first. The boy first and then his writing. In Arabic, it's said writing is the boy.
But the ولد يكتب
as you say in Arabic, جملة
You
فعلية
can say both
جملة
ways.
فعلية جملة
Right? Oh, you're coming to my good level. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough at all. Okay?
سؤالي
Really? You mean Arabic? In general, like Nahwi. I'm not good enough. Arabic is a hard language.
but more interesting.
It's very interesting. Very interesting language.
More meaningful.
Yes, absolutely. And the synonyms are lovely. Okay, word beginnings or endings, prefixes or suffixes that are different in English and Arabic. Yaktubu, tektubu for he writes and she writes. That is above. So, after doing this amazing activity or practice, what is the meaning of the word trans? What's trans? What does trans mean?
Changing.
Change. It's change or moving across from one bank to another. If we put in mind the word corriente, which is a Spanish word, meaning the current. The current, right? So translanguaging is moving from English to Arabic or vice versa. From English to Arabic or vice versa. Did everybody grasp the meaning of translanguaging? I'm glad. Okay, so let's revisit the 6 steps of planning. Why am I repeating them every time? Because we will be doing an activity in regards. Okay, so the first step is checking prior knowledge. Number 2, proficiency level. 3, rubric. 4, okay, what's the difference between content and language objectives? We come in the door with one objective, content objective, but we need to check language objective to make sure that the content objective will be there.
But the language objective is the tool you use to achieve.
Absolutely. Because this is, as long as you're using the language, okay, if you're teaching science in Arabic, you don't have to. But if you're teaching science in English, you need to serve 2 purposes. A content objective and a language objective. So that's number 4. Okay, number 5, DI. What is DI? Mr. Amir, what is DI? She wants to sleep and that's too bad. What will happen after we have food? You will sleep and eat. So, differentiated instruction. Remember my shirt?
Yes.
Okay, cannot fit everyone else. Okay, and number 6 is what? Translanguaging. It's using
maximize.
To maximize the benefit.
Benefits.
Okay? But it's not to save time.
Yes.
Mr. Ficky. Mr. Ficky.
Yes.
Is it to save time?
No.
It's not to save time.
Why
Remember?
not? Why not?
Actually, yes.
When you
Sometimes.
teach abstract nouns,
It does to a
it
certain
takes too much
extent.
time and too much effort.
No, but I'll tell you what. Now this is the point. If it takes too much, if you make your life
And it could be
easier.
misunderstood.
No, but if you make your life easier and you have this target, I'm going to use Arabic, then they're never ever going to learn English language.
Sometimes
You have to exert effort, and then if you're dead, you introduce some
Using
Arabic.
Arabic, the last solution,
Yes,
the last
it's
choice.
your last resort.
Yes.
Yes, it's your last resort.
Is it the
Where's my
difference
pointer?
from these stages primary or secondary and
Actually, yes. Maybe in the early
you need
stages.
much Arabic in primary?
But the more they listen, actually it's easier teaching children a language. التعريف الصغر فالنشر. If at our age we're going to learn French, it would be very hard. But if you grow up in an environment where everybody speaks French, eventually, even if you didn't take the language conventions, you will know them. You will know some of the language. You will be able to understand, maybe not speak the language. Right? Okay, consider the type of language. Consider the type of language students are using to get their message across. Now, he's talking not about the teacher, and he's talking about the student. Two types of language, two types. Academic language and social language. Now, this is a bit theoretical. I'll go through it with you, so when we do the next activity, you get the point. Okay, social language. It's the language they use to socialize. Simple, very informal vocabulary. Very informal vocabulary. Use of slang. What's slang? عامية. Who are the loves?
Derga.
عامية. Oh, loves a bit. عامية is the love. Okay, slang. Repetition of words. Mixed and timed. Meaning, you mix a word with another word, and it's not in the grammar of this language. Okay? But apparently, because people do it so many often, you tend to have it when you speak the language. Social language.
Like English words, but used as Arabic words.
Yes.
People are used to say it as
This
it
is
is
social
Arabic,
language,
or it
of
is not
course.
Arabic. It's English.
This is translanguaging social language.
Yes.
Okay? Simpler grammatical constructions. Sentences can start with and. Is it correct that a sentence should start with and, then, or but? No, it should be in the middle, right?
Yes.
But in slang, we don't. You can usually use this.
Literature.
It's okay.
Sometimes we find-
Yes. Okay. Used with family, friends, and acquaintances. What are acquaintances? Nice, right. And groups. Okay, let's look at academic language. Technical specific language. Technical specific language. Specialized register with varied content specific terminology. So, academic language is terminology, and terminology doesn't have to be science. It could be any subject. Terminology is in Arabic, it's in English, it's in social studies, it's in math, it's in every psychology, geography, history. There are some terminologies that have to do with the subject. Okay? Complex grammatical constructions, because it's very formal. Okay? Can you use this in academic language, which is and or but in the middle of the sentence? At the beginning of the sentence, I'm sorry. No, of course not. It's very, very formal. Used for speaking and writing in school and other professional formal contexts. Okay, when I'm preparing a PowerPoint presentation, can I use informal language? No, of course not. Because this is a formal context, right? This is a very formal context. could be both groups and individual. And what did I say about using academic and social language? If someone masters social language, does he or she have to master academic language?
No.
Of course not. Of course not. And vice versa, by the way. And vice versa. No, but vice versa, no. Social language, because it's commonly used. No, that's not the case. So it's only if a person masters social language, doesn't have to master the academic. And usually they never master academic language. Okay? Unless they exert a lot of effort. Okay. Now, in your groups, you are going to come up with examples from your classrooms, social and academic language. One person can write, and the rest can participate. You see what I mean? Per group, yes, cooperative learning. One person can be the writer. You put your heads together to come up with specific social language and academic.
What page do you need to write some example?
Yes, I want you to write from your education first notebook, just divide the page in two, and then write social, academic, and I want some examples, please. Okay, you're lost. You're fed up. Couldn't mean that. It depends how you see it. I see it very informal.
When you say يعني you lost everything.
I know what you mean. It depends. Do you think this is formal or informal?
Formal.
It's formal? Okay, we'll see about that. Okay, so let's do this together. Okay, group one. Examples of social language.
Social language we use hi.
Okay, let's listen to one another, please. Let's listen to one another. Thank you. Okay, high five, nice.
What's up?
What's up?
Yours. And at the end of the letter.
What, excuse me, the last one.
Yours.
Yours. You find this what?
At the end
Social?
of the letter, yeah. How are things? What's about? See you.
See you, okay. Very nice.
Yes, I see.
Yes, I
Yes, I
see.
see.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
ear is
that's
burning.
true. What?
My ear is burning.
Oh, okay.
In academic. So what's
Let's
the
listen.
matter?
Hold on, please. Can we listen to one another, please? Thank you very much.
In academic. What's the matter? Sincerely. How are you? What's your opinion? Goodbye. I understand.
Okay.
I'm insulted.
I'm insulted?
Yeah.
Okay.
My ear is burning. That's in social. In academic.
In social.
I'm
but
insulted.
you
I'm
mentioned
saying
this, the ones you mentioned right now with sincerely, that's the academic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Agree or disagree? Is there something, because we're debating. Agree, disagree?
We agree, but
What's
I
your name?
think he listened to us.
Mr.
while we were
Name.
talking. There is where with us when we were talking.
I like honesty.
We have the same steps.
I like honesty. It's the best policy in life. Believe me. Compatible thoughts. Mutual thoughts. Okay. Group number 3, and then we'll go back to group number 2.
Yeah.
So we can compare, okay?
When you say how are things, what's up?
That's social
But we
language.
have different I'm up to my neck.
Oh, I'm up to my neck.
Lend me your ears.
I've heard I'm up to my nose. That's when you're really fed up. What does fed up mean?
Angry.
Yes, angry. Oh, very tense. Yes, okay.
Lend me your ears.
Lend me your ears. Or yeah, you know when I address my students, I tell them, I don't tell them pay attention. I tell them I want you to be all ears.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So we are all ears.
And we are all yes.
My ears
So
are
listen,
burning.
please.
We consider idioms are the colloquial.
Yes, yes.
Or colloquial. Or idioms. Or idioms.
Well,
Pros and pros are colloquial.
Advantages
Okay,
and
that's true.
disadvantages, but
that's true to a certain extent. Yes. What's the? Keep your eyes on me.
But we have some words like the infinite and the gerund concerned in the grammar, prefixes and suffixes,
Yes.
factors, traits, elements, substances.
Yes, that's your English. Excuse me?
Is it hard?
Yes, yes, actually yes. Yes, it's because you're speaking from the English language perspective. Okay? I would put mitosis, for example, because I teach biology. I do.
Yes.
Okay? Mitosis. Okay, thank you very much.
We can add the cool.
Cool.
Cool is something.
Cool dude.
The most repeated word.
I hate this. When they do this, I die. Okay. Okay. This side? Why?
They will cheat from the
Are you going to, do you have something written?
yeah.
So what? Listen. Even if it's wrong, that's fine. We're sharing ideas. I'm here so we can, I'm facilitating and sharing. Okay? Please, let's respect one another. Okay, thank you.
Go in, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
I think he's sure.
Is it
With
what?
little learners, when he expresses about he wants to go to the toilet,
Yes.
then you see
Which grade levels do you teach? Which grade levels? From early primary or upper primary? Oh, the lower stages. Oh.
Then you see drink water, freeze water.
Oh.
You know the name, what's your name? Ahmed Ibrahim.
By the way, yes. Yes, that's very informal.
Yes. In academic language, can I drink? Can I drink? Can
So
I
you
go
have
to
the
the
right
bathroom,
thing.
please? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And may I go to the bathroom? That's academic. I mean, it's a bit formal, right?
Social, when you ask him, who's book is it?
Yes, of course.
That's expression.
You have some
You
American.
can say academic, it's mine, it's my book.
Yes, yes. They don't answer full sentences, right? Okay. Yes.
Can we consider body language or gestures as a social language?
That's a very good question. But language is language. But of course, it sends messages. You're very right. It sends messages. Like tomorrow when we take pronunciation, you can say the same thing in two ways to send two different meanings. And it's the same phrase, the same wording, exactly the same. But the way you say it is sending something different. The message you're sending is different. So it's the same. It's a tool. That's right. Who said tool? Remember that? Yes. Okay. It's a tool. But you cannot say it's this or that. Okay?
But the main purpose of social language is to give the meaning, just the meaning.
Yes, it is.
So, but
But we're talking
can
about
give us
the
meaning.
language itself. Language is what comes out of your mouth.
Yes.
Right? Yes, spoken or written language. Right. Okay, this side. You have something different? Yes. Miss Email. Okay. Okay, can we listen?
Hi. How are things?
Can we listen?
Start.
Okay? Let's all benefit from any activity. Okay? The purpose of this, I'm here to facilitate and to share ideas together. Okay? Thank you very much. Yes, Ms. Iman.
Yes. Hi. Good morning. Okay. How are things?
Hi is very informal. Right? It's very informal. How about awesome? Excuse me, Ms. Iman. Awesome.
Informal.
Awesome.
Informal.
Of course.
Like good.
Of course.
Wonderful.
Have you heard of ain't?
Informal.
I ain't.
I am not.
It's I'm not. Who said I'm not?
I
Yes.
don't.
I'm not. Ain't is so slang. So slang.
I'm gonna.
Gonna. I have issues with the American language. I don't like the American language because I was born and raised in England. So to me, Americans, they spoil the language.
No.
They
We
did.
don't agree with you.
No, they did.
Language is a language. Language,
No,
something
I
like
mean-
a voice. Look, let me tell you my opinion. Because language is something like anybody of us. We were born babies, then we get something like boys and girls, something a grown man or a grown woman. So language is something like that. So people in America speak something a little bit different from people in England.
Yes.
So this is
I'm not talking about the dialect. I'm talking about, it's not the dialect.
Language can be developed, what I mean. So
Yes,
language is
evolution
not
of
what you
language.
have learned. It's not what you have learned. Language is the way people are talking together in the streets, in markets, in buses.
How would you write the word color?
It's different. I mean, like programming.
American is different from British.
You are not.
Yes.
We're going to discuss this already.
Yeah.
Yes?
Language, what people talk together. How can you talk with your friends?
No, but I'm talking about the structure itself, wording. You know, they have, instead of
They
bin,
they
they
want
say
to
trash.
have a new language.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes,
فده
they're
مش
very decent people, so they're creating a culture and a language of their own.
بعد 100 سنة مثلا هتبقى ايه؟ language مختلف.
Absolutely yes. So yes. Sorry. Okay, so hi is one of them.
It's social and the academic one is good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Hey, will give me a hand.
Oh, give me, I like that. Give me a hand. That's very good. Okay, what's give me a hand? Thank you. Okay, move on
Hurry up.
is another word for
Hurry up.
hurry up, please. Yes. Okay. Be yourself. What's be yourself?
Accept yourself.
Yes. Okay, is it formal or informal? Be yourself, please. Informal. Informal. Any other ideas? Yes. Oh no, but CV is a resume, and not personal. That it's a meaning. Because CV stands for curriculum writing, right? So it's the same.
We can use
no, they're both
must.
very formal.
We use must in formal language and have to in formal language.
Give me an example.
Must be when we use transcribe the laws, we use must. Not
Okay.
have to.
Okay.
Okay,
You
that
must.
is-
It's an obligation, means.
Yes.
For rules.
That's for rules in general.
And laws.
And laws.
Obligation to yourself.
But how about when you enter the classroom for the first time and you say, you must?
You must is an inner you want to something.
You must. Was this better
No.
than saying, let's, as a group, decide on the norms? See what I mean? So I transferred this from my side to the student side.
Drivers must.
You know what I do?
Use the right.
I let them come up with the norms, and I write them in my own handwriting on a chart like this, and they sign. They sign all over the chart, their own signature on the chart.
You mean it as a diplomatic way?
Excuse me?
You mean you make it as a
Yes, yes. Because once you tell someone, you must do that, they would feel, because this is human nature, let's do the opposite. It's human nature. This is human nature. But if you drag this out of their mouths, they feel kind of responsible. You're conveying the responsibility from you to them. Yes, please.
The grade, what grade?
High school, which is like
Secondary.
secondary. ثانوي تانية ثانوي ثالثة ثانوي.
Can't work with.
But no, little ones it's a bit different. You can act things out.
Friendly way.
Yes.
Must or must.
Friendly way is the tool for all stages. You have to be 2 F's. I call this 2 F's. Friendly and firm together. Very friendly, but firm and flexible. Actually, I find it 3 Fs.
Say ولا فوق؟
What's the fourth one?
Funny.
Oh, funny is a good one. To me, it's the most important one.
Fantastic.
Okay? Yes, please.
If someone says, may I answer the call of nature, this is academic or
May I answer?
call of nature?
Oh, the call of nature. Well, you're in. Oh, that's hard. Okay? You mean another way of saying going to the bathroom?
Yes.
Is academic or
It's a form.
I've never ever used it in English. However, okay,
It is
in
used in
Arabic.
Arabic.
Did you do wording? Did you translate the wording, or have you heard it before?
I hear that.
You did. I haven't.
Because it's the exact translation from the background.
I find it funny.
No.
Yes, I find it funny.
It has a classical meaning. It's not journey to the center of the earth, even under the earth, the moon or the sea answers the call for the moon.
Okay.
So it has an academic meaning.
Oh yes. But I find it. How many people think this is academic?
Which one?
I think it's translated, and not everything could be translated. That's what I think. It's scientific, but it's about the tides, and the pull of the moon and the earth on one another. But the pull of nature just makes me smile. Funny.
I want you to smile.
Yes, I love smiling. Anyway. Oh, this is out of okay. Firm, fun, friendly, and fun. I find funny very important. Who said funny? What's some word for me? Okay, mix of the 3 Fs. Focus. We have so many Fs. I need to reconsider my F party. Okay. So let's discuss this. Social language is very different to academic language or the language needed for school. So, where do they use the social language? Is it? How about in the playground? Can you enforce your students to use academic language in the playground? No. Even outside the classroom, they would use. Even inside when you're not there, they would use, as long as they're communicating, they would use social language, okay? Academic language is no one's first language. No one will ever master academic language, okay? But everybody masters social language because we socialize all day long. Mastering social language does not mean mastering academic language. I think we mentioned this before, right? Okay. Both social and academic language must be distinguished clearly while teaching. What does that mean?
To differentiate between them.
Okay. Remember translanguaging? Remember translanguaging? What is translanguaging? A mix between two languages, Arabic and English. For maximum benefit, to maximize the benefits in reaching the goal or the objective of the lesson. Now, sometimes, from my perspective, you need to use social language with the children to enforce academic language. And sometimes it's to break the barrier. Do you see what I mean? If you're too formal with your children, your students, sometimes it gives the sense of monotonous, number one, you're monotonous, and it's a fairly strict environment, and you see them on a regular basis, where they would feel very uncomfortable and inconvenient at your presence, which is something you don't want to do. Right? So it's very important to use social language in a professional way. Okay, because the first thing you would like to do is what? Once you enter this classroom, at the beginning of the year, they know nothing about you. They know nothing about you, and you're entering the classroom and you want to,
Break the ice.
thank you,
Yes.
break the ice. If you handle this issue extremely formally, you will never break the ice. You need to loosen up so they can chill and feel comfortable. And once they feel comfortable, but they don't need to be too comfortable, otherwise
They want to use the academic language.
norms won't be there, right? Okay.
Yes.
So to achieve the goal, sometimes it's important to enforce some social language. Now let me give you examples that we mentioned today. Okay. We said content objective and language objective. We said social language and academic language. We said passive learning and active learning. We said informational learning and transformational learning. Can we ban social language? Academic. Social language. What's the other one? Passive learning. Can we ban these two? No. We can't. Can we ban informational learning? Okay, your target is active learning to reach an objective. But you can't do active learning all along. This is not, you have to enforce some passive learning. As a teacher, to reinforce terminologies, how do you do this? You have to put a touch of passive learning, capsulate it in active learning. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
We pass the break.
Quickly.
We're good?
Quickly.
You guys are good. You're good, actually. This is a very good group, mashallah. A very good group of people together in one area. It's very responsive, extremely. I'm saying the truth.
Thank you so much.
This is the truth.
Still have a scaffold, have an
Scaffold is at the end. You're in a hurry. We're
What?
coming.
By the rich accent, what's balance? What people say for pounds? I mean, sterling pounds.
Balanced?
No. I'm just asking you, not for the British accent. We
Okay.
say 10 pounds. What do people say for pound? Quilt or quilt or something?
No. What's that?
I mean, the currency of England.
It's a pound.
It's a sterling pound.
Right.
How do people say pound by the
Bucks.
social line bucks?
But
I think bucks. That bucks are dollars. No, there's another
You say
one.
quilt or quilt or something?
I don't know. I haven't heard of this.
Yeah.
I haven't. But this must be super slang.
Yeah.
I think in some dialects, yes, they have, some British dialects, they have another word for the pound. Pound is the formal one.
It's a Roman one.
Of course. Okay, remember this. We are, okay, we're doing the lesson plan. Remember? We have 7 points discussed. Ms. Reda is in a hurry. She wants to know scaffolding as soon as possible. Okay, now steps for planning. Checking prior knowledge, determining students' proficiency level, rubric, writing, content and language objectives, DI, which is differentiation or differentiated instruction, translanguaging, which reminds us of the corriente, and academic and social language. We're not doing scaffolding now, we'll do regrouping because we have an activity. Now we're all English teachers, so we're doing something in regards. But I will do regrouping. I will start from this side. I'll give you from A to D. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Okay? A, B, C, D. 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 For a change, because We have 4 markers. The table does not have the marker. There's a marker on this table. Who doesn't have a marker? Is it this table? Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the last activity before break time, which is, remember what we did at the very beginning? What was this? A lesson. Steps of a lesson. And where did this fall? What I did? Where did this fall? Remember, what's the first step of our lesson plan? Checking prior knowledge. So what did I do with this activity? I checked prior knowledge, right? So, now, this was checking the prior knowledge. I've been talking for 3.5 hours on one topic, which is steps for planning. So, using the first 7, without this one, Ms. Reda, because she's worried about scaffolding, using these 7 as a group, I'll give you a flip chart. You have to write, not the steps, a complete lesson plan. A complete lesson plan. As a group, I know you're all English teachers, right? So pick something up to your fantasy. I'm not interfering in this.
This is pre-knowledge or post-knowledge?
This is post-knowledge. This is through knowledge. This is at knowledge, actually. A copy of the PowerPoint? Let's see some. I'll give them on the Write a complete lesson plan trying to serve what you've learned without scaffolding, because scaffolding is the final say. We didn't explain it yet. Okay? You have to write a lesson plan. But you need to serve anything short, please. It's not like it's just I need to see how to apply this in a lesson plan. We have
عايز تقول عجبك بس ايه الانشطه اللي بتعملوها يعني
بس هي عايزانا نتفهم السيفن بوينت. احنا كل هو كده السيفن بوينت
فلاش كاردز او بوسترز خلاص شارتس
Real
اكتب بورد
بعد تيتشنج جديد اليوم كابسول له ستراكشر الاثنين ورا بعض لا له ستراكشر وبعدين ورا بعض.
طب ماشي
اي كلمتين بقى اللي حافظ الدرس ده يكتب اي كلمتين منه
هنقول مثلا اوزون لاير. هنقول هازاردز.
Are you done? Okay, 5 minutes.
شوف اللي انت عايزه. حاول اترجم اي حاجه. تعلق تايتل هيلثي
ممكن. I don't mind. I'm not concerned with what you have to try. Yes. I want to hear on the thing. You can still follow the template because I know in the experimental the government Ministry of Education following their template with an operation. I know. But just consider please in between lines. That's fine. We're just doing a general discussion. We're not saying right or wrong. I'm not here to say right or wrong. Okay? We're doing adult learning, so definitely I'm not here to say right or wrong. We're discussing. Mr. Fatih? Would you like to? Okay. Okay, that's fine. You can like do this and cooperate. Let's listen to one another, please. Okay?
Do you want to read that?
What's your name, sir? Name Iheb. Mr. Iheb. Okay, Mr. Iheb. Mr. Iheb will read out. Are you going to do the entire thing or will someone else continue? The whole entire thing. That's fine. Okay. Let's benefit from one another, please. Nurse. Hello. It's okay if you're not done. That's fine. Let's listen to one another, please, so we can benefit. Okay, thank you very much. Say hey.
We write the date and the class, subject, learning objective, why is the path symbol.
That's the title? What's the title?
The campsite, grade 5.
Okay.
The campsite, grade 5.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
The objectives, revise the path symbol, ask and answer about the time, to give directions, enjoy and feel the importance of cooperation, strategies, group work, pair work, brainstorming.
But how are you going to apply this?
The group work by person.
You're teaching a concept, right? Which is present?
Past
simple. Past simple. Okay.
Activities in some activities.
You will do an activity?
As a campsite. Activities as a
Ah.
campsite.
Oh,
Someone
that's
is
nice.
watching the sunrise, someone is climbing the mountain, someone is
Playing.
playing cards.
How are you going to display this? I
You
mean,
can make groups. This group will watch the boats, this group will
okay.
what you want to do.
Okay. That's nice. They would love this. That's being realistic. Okay. Oh, they would love this. Me act as a monkey. Very nice. Okay. Mr. Iheb, go on, please.
flashcards, smart board, student book, workbook, the warm up. Where do you usually spend your holidays?
Okay, but let me stand by the tools. You were going to use flashcards, a smart board,
student book,
workbook, and student book. So you're tackling many things there. Okay. Is this serving the DI purpose? What's the DI? Differentiated instruction.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're using flashcards, a smart board activity, or maybe the smart board, you're using a student book, which is the textbook, right?
Yes, textbook, yes.
Okay, and a workbook. That's a variety of tools. Okay, if you speak of the student book and the flashcards and the smart board, that's a variety of tools for differentiated instruction. But the workbook is what?
Resource. Resource.
It's a source. The textbook is a source as well.
academic language.
When you give them a workbook, they have to solve, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it? An assessment. It's an assessment. Is it a formative or summative assessment? Remember the cooking?
Yes.
Okay, if I'm cooking and you have to eat my food? Okay, when I'm cooking, that's formative assessment. I will adjust the salt, the pepper, the spices, the lemon, whatever. You come and taste my food and you say yummy, yummy. That's a summative.
Please, don't speak about cooking.
Are you hungry, Mr. Vickery?
We are hungry. Please. Later.
How about me? I've been talking for 4 hours. I should be hungry because when I have something to do, I'm never hungry.
This is formative.
Is what Mr. Ihab said. Formative, the workbook. Let's listen, please. Is the workbook a formative or summative assessment?
Formative.
It's a formative assessment. Because you are reinforcing the concept, which is past.
And you can adjust yourself while.
Yes, of course. Through going with the students through the workbook, you can tell if they grasp the concept or not. Okay, go on.
The warm-up, where do you usually spend your days? So the students may answer in different...
Are you going to group them? Or just, is this a group discussion? The whole class discussion or group discussion?
Open discussion.
It's an open discussion for the classroom. Like you, okay, you're discussing the 40 students you have, for example. Okay.
Another question, what's your favorite food? And they will give me answers like, in this one we have beans and eggs.
Beans and eggs for breakfast.
Okay, why would you use this in this context? What does it serve?
Because the dialogue has what's for breakfast? We have beans and
okay.
eggs. Yeah,
It's a
my
dialogue
favorite.
in the book. You're talking about something, of course, I'm not aware of. That's why. Okay.
What's
okay.
for breakfast?
You're going to relate to food.
My favorite.
The favorite food. Oh, they would jump at
It's
that.
something exciting, and students
They
enjoy
love talking about food.
talking
They
about
love
food.
talking about food.
Traditional Egyptian food.
And the holidays. Of course, everybody enjoys talking about the holidays. Okay, consider.
Education, we have key vocabulary, campsite, camp, smells good, laugh at jokes, climb the mountain, and the meaning words.
Okay, these are the words. Are these the keywords to deliver academic language, to deliver the concept of, what's the concept here you're teaching? Past simple, right? Yeah, okay. Can we listen to one another, please?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Ihab, is that it?
No.
Okay, please now continue, please.
Structure, what did you do? What did you do last summer? What did you do?
That's the open discussion thing, right?
Yeah, what did you do in the campsite? I watched the sunrise, I climbed the mountain. Did you watch the sunrise? Yes, I did. No, I didn't see grammar.
Okay, how would this serve grammar? The way they say it? Okay.
What's
Did
you?
Okay.
Did you space? Did you?
What did you do?
Pause. Okay.
The practice, students look at the photo and describe what's happening in the presentation. and they work in pairs to match column A to column B. Write a sentence to describe the picture. Evaluation: what time do you get up every day? Home assignment: answer question on exercise.
This is the final assessment. Okay, how did your lesson plan, this is discussion, it's not a right or no, yes or no answer. How did your lesson plan address the language objective? The content is, you see, because that's why when I gave the example, I gave the example of the water cycle, because it has nothing to do with the English language. You see what I mean? It's easier. How are you going to meet the language objective? Any ideas? It doesn't have to be Mr. Yeh. Any ideas? He's teaching how simple, right? Okay. Okay, so you're going to evaluate their proficiency through this. Okay, see if they lie in the, which level? No, I mean, remember the rubric? Yes, entering, beginning, developing, and expanding. What if you have the four, of course, it's not what? We all experience this. You have all four levels there in the classroom. So to explain something like past simple, you're going to have to figure something out for people who are entering the language, something else for people who are beginning, something third for developing, and something for expanding. So how can we manage? I'm always concerned not with the above achievers. I'm very concerned with the, yes. How would you handle this, Mr. Fikri?
When we are teaching past simple, for example, we can, for the beginning or entering, we can ask them questions that could be answered with yes or no. Did you
Absolutely.
Play? Did you play?
Yes, and simple. And it could have, remember, I'm not sure if you can remember. Remember at the bottom here, that was the beginning, the entering level. Now the entering level was what? The simple graphic representations with WH questions, right? Okay, and then how will you address the ones who are beginners?
Can I continue?
Mr. Finger, you need to listen to someone else.
Okay.
They're a very good participant.
If they are hungry and they don't want to participate, I can continue.
Okay. Okay, someone from this table. The ladies' table. Excuse me, please. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the ladies. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Okay, ladies. How can we address the beginners? Remember, we have the entering level, then we have the beginning level. Beginning level have what? Were graphic representations important?
Very simple target question.
Now that's the entering level. But the beginning, we have, you need to put pictures, right? And how are you going, you need to put pictures, but you can expect from them some mistakes. Will mistakes alter or not alter the meaning?
Or not alter the meaning.
So, what's the difference? Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference between a beginner and someone who is in the entering level? Beginning level, both need pictures. But the beginning, they can use phrases. But sometimes mistakes alter the meaning, right? So they want to say something, but because of the very poor sentence structure, they're sending something else as a message. Okay? Yes, Mr. Fikri.
For the beginning, in this exercise, I can ask them if there is a text to read and give me sentences from the text which...
Okay, which level is that?
Beginning. The entering, I ask them very simple. WH questions or yes, no
We're talking
questions.
about Mr. Iheb's lesson plan, right?
But now for the beginning, read the text, give me examples for using the past simple in the sentence.
Okay, that's a good idea. But do you think reading if you're asking them to read and extract the information, where do you think this would lie? I think it's developing. I think it's developing.
No, developing, I can ask them to give me
To extract information from a text, I think that's developing.
In our lesson, I don't agree with this. In our lesson, we speak about the past simple. It's no thing to. What about reading? I want to tell a story. The past simple.
Yes, it's very simple.
Oh, tell a story, not reading.
Yes.
Yesterday, I went to Cairo.
It could be a personal story.
I saw Kaza. I helped someone. Kaza, Kaza.
I played.
What did you do yesterday? I helped ma. What did you do? I cooked. What did you do? I had my lunch.
But Mr. Ihab, we're talking about the general concept. If you ask your students, not in regards to your lesson plan, in general, if you ask your students to extract information from a passage, where do you think the student is? I think it's developing. Developing. That's what I think. Okay? Yes. Okay. How would you master something like this? How would you address a student who is mastering, which means he's an above achiever when it comes to language?
Messages and
maybe summarize something, summarize a story, or write his own composition about his personal experience yesterday, what he did through the day, or his general routine, his morning rituals.
Describe your teacher.
Describe your teacher. That would be very nice to them. That would be very nice to them. Not for us, that's true. They would have a lot of fun describing the teacher because that's what they do all day long. Okay?
The last simple, you were tired yesterday. You weren't active yesterday.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay.
You were hungry yesterday.
Mr. Fikri is very hungry. Mr. Fikri is super hungry. Let me